Last week I found myself in our nation's capital. Well, my nation's capital. And since I was in Washington, D.C., I decided to visit the National Gallery of Art. That is not it. That's the Gallery of Art. If you were watching last week, you know that the assignment was to watch Noah Bradley's video, at least the first half of that video, on how to digitally paint. Link down below. In it, he recommended doing master studies, which is taking the work of great painters and recreating those, just like recreating thumbnails, so you can understand conceptually how those paintings were put together. It's great for understanding layout and color and things like that. He also recommended that in doing these master studies, you go out and find dead painters. I think that's great advice. I have nothing against painters who are still breathing, but I think that the cream rises to the top, and over time, if we're still looking at a painter's work 100, 200, 300 years later, it must have been good. There's something solid there that's still worth sharing. I also took this to heart because I spend most of my time on the internet looking at other people's paintings of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I figure, hey, I should probably expand my horizons at least a little bit. I did two things as I was wandering around the art museum. The first was I was just looking for painters who I liked. I don't know a whole lot about my art history, so it was a great learning experience for me. I was also looking at these paintings and trying to deconstruct them and think through, how would I do that? If I was just going to pull out the colors, how would I construct the painting? What would the underpainting look like? What would the thumbnail look like? I think most of the stuff that I was looking at was from the 17 and 1800s. I tried to stay away from Impressionism. I really like Impressionism. But I think Impressionists kind of break things down into basic colors and lights anyway, and I want to do that for myself, if that makes any sense at all. So yeah, over the past week, I've been doing these master studies. I've been taking photos, I've been taking other people's illustrations, and I've been breaking them down into thumbnails. One morning, I even drew along with Bob Ross, the little Afro guy from the 80s and 90s who used to paint on PBS. That experience wasn't a total disaster, and it was kind of fun. If you tried to tune into my live stream last Thursday, I had some problems, but I think I've ironed those out. On Tuesday, I did a master study from someone named Horace... I gotta remember this guy's name. Screw it, I'm just gonna read it. Horace Vernet. He's a French painter. He's drawn a lot of horses and battles and horses battling. I'm not really up for drawing a really complex horse battle yet, so I found this more mundane picture of a guy and a horse. His name is Horace, and he draws horses. Yeah, that one was funnier in my head. I guess it turned out okay. I'm not totally happy with it, but you know, it's all about learning and practicing. So that's my plan for the next week, is to just continue doing master studies and continuing to draw from photos and other great artists from our past, just to keep learning and keep churning. I don't think there's anything magical that I should be doing at this point. I'm not focusing on technique too much. I'm just practice, practice, practice. So your assignment this week, if you are following along, is to watch the second half of Noah Bradley's video, link down below, and do some master studies just like he does. He spends a lot of time in the second half of that video breaking down a really complex master study that he did. It's also probably a good idea to go out and find non-breathing illustrators and painters that you like. I went to a museum to do this. You don't have to go that far. You can use Google and just kind of do some research into art history and find some things you enjoy. I would probably stay away from anything done in the last, 10, 15 years. Stay away from fan art. I know it's cool stuff to draw, but you want to push yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit. So good luck, and until then, I have made a new hashtag, and that's all I got for this week. I'll see you in a few days.